Hey guys, it's Simon with DriveFly RC. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Tonight we're going to be taking a first look at the Naze Afro Flight 32 Acro Rev 6. As you can see, there's been a lot of changes made to this board. I think it's very cool. I'm very excited to stick it on a QAV 210 coming up here real soon. I do want to thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Looks like we've just reached 700 subscribers. Thank you so much for your support over the years. I really appreciate it. We have lots of cool stuff planned for you coming up. I've been a little bit busy lately with my daughter. She was just born about 6 weeks ago, so I've been a little tied up and haven't been able to put many flight videos out, but hopefully that's going to change here soon. She's getting a little bit older. It's a little bit easier to get out and go fly. But let's take a look at this Naze Afro Flight 32 Rev 6. So the first thing that you notice, I notice, is that the USB port is on the right. I think that's a very nice feature. You free up some processing power by not having to rotate the board in the GUI. And this board has some very cool features that we're going to go over with you right now. It does have an STM32F103CBT6 32-bit ARM Cortex M3 processor that runs at 72 MHz, 3.3 volts, an InventSense MPU 6500 MEMS accelerometer and gyro, a BMP 280 barometer. So one cool feature about that is the Acro version, which is pretty cheap now, has a barometer, so you can do things like altitude, height, hold in your flight modes, which is a very cool feature to have on an Acro board. It's just a fun thing to play around with. It does have the built-in micro USB, again on the right side there, for upgrading the firmware and updates and stuff like that. It is the typical 36 by 36 millimeter size, and it only weighs 5 grams with no pin headers. It does have a 16 volt input capable voltage regulator, so you can input direct up to 16 volts, which is a very cool feature, I think, here. So this does have the USB on the right side. Like I said, it can free up a little bit of processing power for you there, just because you don't have to rotate the board. If you did have your pin header on the back before, you had to rotate it in the GUI. It does have the PPM, PWM inputs as through holes now, which is a very cool feature. As you can see here, you have your ground, your power, signal 1 through 8 over here on the left side. Now typically on a Rev 5 Naze Acro, you had the actual pads on there. There was a set of pads on the top and the bottom, and there was some issues with overheating where the solder would melt or something, and those would pop off. So I'm very happy. I really like the through holes better because I just direct solder everything to the board. So I'm a real big fan of that change in particular. Now let's see what else we have here. It is compatible with the Rev 5 accessories, like the OS Doge, etc., stuff like that. So you don't have to really mess around with it. You can just do stacks for like the OSDs and stuff like that from the Rev 5 setups that were originally designed for Rev 5. Another really cool feature about this is it already has the S-Bus inverter on it. If you're running a Rev 5 Naze before, you had to get your own separate inverter and solder it on, and it was a big pain. Now it's already included on the board. It makes life a little bit easier for using S-Bus, which I think most of us are nowadays, so you can run a better loop time, better processing and stuff like that. It also has the Spectrum satellite direct hookup on here. Let's see, it has sonar pads with resistors added for direct connection to a 5 volt sonar. I've never used sonar, but I really am excited to try that out. It sounds like a lot of fun, just skimming across the ground, not having to worry about running into anything because you're using sonar. Pretty cool feature there. A lot of fun to play around with. This is a F1 processor still, not the F3, but if you disable the accelerometer and the gyro, I've heard that it can process as good as an F3 processor. Now, you won't be able to use modes like horizon or angle. It'd be strictly for, you know, full rate mode, which is cool for some people. A lot of people like to fly full rate, but if you have better processing power, you can run a lower loop time. You can get higher PIDs and make your quad more responsive, and just make it fly better overall. If you're into rate mode, you can disable that in CLI pretty easily and get a faster processing going on. And get that set up. Now, another really cool feature about this, like I said, is the barometer. You don't have to buy a full version anymore to have the barometer feature, which lets you do things like altitude, height, hold, and there's several other things you can do with the barometer on there. You can get telemetry readout to your OS Doge for altitude. So a pretty cool feature you can consider. It's a pretty cheap board. It's like $24 from getfpv.com. It also has a really cool feature, which was, I believe, only innate to like CC3D before, which is the 16 megabit flash memory. So if you're running a black box, I'll put a link to that maybe in the description there. It allows you to see basically what's going on in a flight controller as you're flying, and then use that data to better tune your vehicle and just get specs and stuff off of it while it's flying. Let's see. This is capable of up to 2,000 degrees per second with a 3-axis MEMS gyro and accelerometer, which is the MPU 6500. Like I said, it does have the input voltage max 16 volt on the input rail and up to 35 volts 6S on the voltage sense line. If you're running telemetry feedback, that's really nice if you're running a 6S setup or something like that, so you can see your voltage on your OSD or on like your Tyrannus or something like that. Let's take a look here. Some of the other features of this board, it's the official configurator for this Naze 32 is base flight. So right now, clean flight isn't available on this board, unfortunately. I'm sure in the future they'll be releasing one of those real quick, but the only downfall I've seen to this is that you have to run base flight, which isn't really that big of a downfall. Let's see here. I'm pretty happy with the Rev 5. I've flown it a lot, and you know, I've had a lot of success and a lot of failures with it, but it's been pretty nice. This is a nice one to try out. It does have a lot of cool features. It's not really more expensive or anything like that, so I would definitely check it out if I were you. I got mine at getfpv.com. There's some other retailers that you can get it from right now. It was just released. I think there's a couple colors that you can get, like red or green or anything like that. Let's see if there's any more information here. Let's take a look at the back of the chip here. The back of the flight controller. Yeah, and this is just a quick look at it. I just unboxed it, so I thought I'd give you guys a look because I'm really excited about it. You can see some of the features there if I can get it focused in. There's everything labeled out for you there. If you're running a PPM signal, it has the marking for the PPM or PWM. And then you can run things like, it looks like the programmable LEDs and stuff off the back, the RGB LEDs. Let's see. And then it has like some of the regular features on there, like the VBAT, the buzzer. Very cool design, very cool little look here. And then there's the pads right there for the sonar. Very cool. So I hope you guys liked that look at the new Rev 6 Naze 32 by Busemark. I will be doing some tuning, some testing. We'll get this thing set up on a QAV 210 here coming up pretty soon in the next month or so, whenever it gets released, we're hoping. And give you guys a real in-depth look at this and review versus like the Rev 5 and the CC3D. Also be doing some tuning and walkthrough videos for this setup. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment below. As always, thank you for subscribing and watching. Thank you for being part of Drive Fly RC. Thank you guys for the 700 subscribers. I'm blown away all the time by that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. Have a great night. Peace out.